Phase Zero Season 4 episode. I actually don't know what number this is. I don't even have it in the rundown. It's just a big show today. 20-something. I'm trying to load Spotify, but I am literally right now hosting this show from Denver. Hello from the Denver airport. I'm BD, joined today by Jenna Anderson.
Hey, everybody.
We got Jamie Jurack.
Good morning. I didn't have to get up at 7:40, but I'm still feeling the 8:40. Let's do it.
Good morning, cool X-Men hoodie. And we got Aaron Perrine.
Oh, goodness. What a show. Let's go.
What a show. Let's go. This was, I actually was like refusing to miss this show because I had this layover and I was like, we got to find a way to do this. I had my time zones switched up and I was like, guys, can we please do the show an hour early? Because I'll be in Denver at this time. And I thought it was the same time as Central Time. Turns out I'm an hour behind. I don't know. It's only 10 a.m. here. And moral of the story is there's some stuff I really wanted to talk about today because the MCU has been dropping little news nuggets left and right. So, shall we begin?
Absolutely.
Before we get started, does anybody want to get out? No, nobody wants to get out. I just thought it was a great opportunity. You know, Sean Levy, reportedly being eyed to direct Avengers 5. This comes from THR and Deadline. THR's report indicates Marvel originally offered it to Levy months ago, but he backed out for scheduling reasons. They're now meeting with other directors while he decides. Deadline reports that sources close to the project say more than 60 MCU characters could reprise their roles, including everyone from Mark Ruffalo, Chris Hemsworth, and Benedict Cumberbatch to Tom Hiddleston, Simu Liu, and Karen Gillan. All right, let's unpack this. Let's start with Sean Levy of it all. I, for one, support this. But I know that might not be the unanimous opinion. Where does everybody else stand? Aaron, you're at the top of the screen.
Massively safe choice. That's about where we are. That's what the people demand. That's what we're going to get. And also, it says more about how good they think Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be than actually anything really about Avengers 5.
Okay, I have a counterpoint to that, but I'm going to let Jenna talk first.
I'm in agreement with both of you. I think I'm excited about this choice, but I do think it is a very safe choice. It feels very much like a fork found in kitchen kind of situation of like, of course they would go to him. Of course, given what we already know about Deadpool and Wolverine, that seems not out of the realm of possibility. I'm curious, even if he does end up landing the role, what other directors they're talking to in the interim, because I'm curious what other visions they're looking for if it's not Sean Levy's. But if he does end up directing it, I think that I would enjoy it, and I think it would help turn the movie in a reasonable amount of time, which we know, as we've said on the show ad nauseum, is kind of becoming a problem. So,
Jamie, what you thinking?
I don't love it, but I also feel like I need to reserve my opinions to see Deadpool and Wolverine first. I do think that it is a good sign for that movie that his name is being thrown around, but I also feel like I'm sure they're waiting to see the numbers and the reactions and all that business. I do like some of his stuff, especially some of his older stuff, but in recent years, aside from Stranger Things, I didn't think Free Guy was that good. I really didn't like the Adam Project, but again, I really think it comes down to what Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be. So I'm pretty neutral mostly on it at this moment.
Sure. My initial read is I'm a fan of Sean Levy. I liked the Adam Project. I loved Free Guy. Real Steel. Really enjoyed that movie too.
Real Steel's pretty
good. So I like it. I also like what my gut says is that it's a big sign of confidence in what he did with Deadpool and Wolverine. At least in some regard. At minimum, actors liked working with him. At best, he made a really good movie, and actors liked working with him, and all good things about Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, the counterpoint that I said I was going to bring up when Aaron pointed this same thing out is what everybody on Twitter is pointing out, because everybody on Twitter is so negative all the time. But this one, I have to say, this is a fair point. Everybody said, well, we all thought that about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania when they had Jeff Loveness doing Avengers 5, and now Jeff Loveness is removed because Ant-Man, or not maybe because, but after the lackluster reception to Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. We were all like, oh, this must be a really good movie. They must believe in it. It's a good sign. And then that movie was not great. So I get that. So it's a little bit of like, hey, we've learned this before. Let's apply the Sony trailer logic that we're going to talk about when we get to the Venom 3 breakdown to this as well. That's so fair. And we'll see what happens. But I do think I take it as a good sign. I think they thought Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was going to be a good movie. So maybe they do believe in Deadpool and Wolverine, and maybe they're wrong. But I think Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be pretty good. I'm very excited for it. And again, I like Sean Levy, so I'm cool with this choice. But also, this does seem like it's in very early talks. It seems like they're talking to him about it. It's not a guarantee. It is one of those stories that just always you hear stuff like this before a big movie comes out. So it seems like maybe it's even intentional that this got out because they wanted us to think Deadpool and Wolverine they had so much confidence in it, you know?
Yeah. Even like this isn't exclusive to the MCU. The same thing happened with The Flash and Andy Muschietti because like he got attached to direct Brave and the Bold, and then The Flash came out and had a completely different reaction than everyone thought it was going to have. And now we've heard nothing about that movie ever since. So it's not even that this is exclusive to Marvel Studios, but it'll be interesting to see either way. I'm also curious because like a lot of people have a lot of thoughts about the 60 characters thing. We did the math in the work Slack yesterday. There were maybe like 50 something returning speaking parts in Endgame of like costumed characters who returned. So 60 is not that crazy when you actually think about it, but it still is kind of a big number when you hear it pulled out of context.
I was actually
I'm glad you did the math.
This is going to be a nightmare, but I was going to say, can we see how many we can name? Can we like put the timer up and give ourselves like 3 minutes to see how many characters we could name that are eligible to return, like a living characters? I don't know if we even have the clock loaded in, but we can Aaron can hold the clock up for this one because this is imprompt.
Yeah,
we don't need a
I'll
clock.
start saying we love making a rundown and then having like, yo, this is a great idea. All right, there you go.
Right, so
here you go.
I'm gonna start.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Wait. I got to get in the dock here so we can count them, and then it automatically.
Go
ahead.
How do you make numbered bullet points? There we go. Okay. All right. Let's go.
Oh dear God.
Hawkeye, Clint Barton. Hawkeye, Kate Bishop. Doctor Strange.
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. Oh my God! Wait,
Wanda,
I need one
baby.
hand to type. Shang-Chi. Wait, Clea. Wanda. Well, Wanda's technically
Typing
dead,
is
but we
going to
do
take like
expect
half
her.
of the time.
Agatha. Wait, okay, we got Agatha.
She-Hulk.
You guys can add them too. Feel free to add them too. She-Hulk. Boom. Okay. Daredevil.
Yelena. My short-term
Yelena,
memory is not
okay,
good. I'm
boom.
going to repeat things that have been said.
Ross. Sam.
Oh yeah.
Falcon. Well, Torres. Moon
Aaron
Knight. Does
Willis.
Moon Knight count as 3? Moon Knight. Monica. Wait, who's Monica? Oh, Monica Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau. Yeah.
Duh,
Carol.
yeah. Monica. Carol. Kamala.
Spider-Man?
Valkyrie. Spidey. We could put MJ, Ned, Flash, Thompson, not the Flash. I mean, we're at 22 already. I don't think getting to 60 is that hard. What else we got here? Hulk.
I'm going to say the one I tweeted, Madison.
Oh my God, with the Y, but not where you think.
Yeah.
Who else we got?
Wong.
Thor.
Madison.
Thor. Wong.
Gonna shout out my girl Darcy.
Darcy. What's Randall Park's character's name?
Jimmy Woo.
Jimmy Woo, duh.
Woo.
Jimmy Woo. Who else we got? Does Moon Knight count as 3? Like I got Moon Knight in there, but is that like Jake?
Yeah. Do we say Shuri yet?
Shuri, Okoye,
Nick Fury.
M'Baku, Nick Fury. Who else we got? There's so many people.
Alligator Loki.
Oh, yeah.
Loki times 100 because there's a million variants. I mean, Deadpool, Wolverine. I mean, we're at 35 right now. Vision. Yeah, whether it's White Vision or regular Vision, we'll just count
There's
them as
like
Vision.
10 Guardians that we could bring into
Oh
consideration.
my God,
Yeah.
Groot.
Eternals, all of them.
Rock.
all
Oh
of
my
the
God.
Eternals, yeah.
Sure, why not?
I'm just gonna put 1, 2, wait, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Eternals. All right, we're at 45. Like clearly, we're hold on. We got 40 seconds left on the clock. We're not there yet. Kingo, Thena, all them. All right, wait. Rocket, Groot, Nebula,
Billy and Tommy.
Echo,
Oh shit, you right.
Kingpin. Wait, Billy, Tommy. Oh my God, this list is insane. We're at 50. I get 60. We got 20 seconds.
Gaia.
Oh my God, Gaia. Who else is in Wakanda that we haven't mentioned?
M'Baku.
Justin
I
Hammer.
got him on there.
No more. Justin Hammer.
No more.
Foggy.
Oh my God. All right. Foggy Nelson. Karen
Just
Page.
because he's there.
Oh my God. 55. We're at 54. All right. We got 54 in 3 minutes. That's pretty good. Wait,
Yeah.
did we not put Bucky on here? No way. We didn't put
No,
Bucky
we
on
left
Oh
here.
some
my
big
God.
ones
We need
out.
to
I
put
don't
like
think
half
we
the
even say
Thunderbolts.
Sam.
Yeah.
We didn't say Zemo. I'm so sorry. Bucky.
Peter was trying.
Zemo. We got 56 now. All right, so listen, 60 is a lot of characters. Clearly, it's more than we can mention in 30 minutes, and we're good at this. We do this for a living. Oh, what a segment! Good job, team. We couldn't even name all the Eternals. We just went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Anyway,
We did our best.
so we didn't put Ant-Man. We didn't put the Wasp. Here's another thing. Cassie
a lot
Lang.
of people out. Like,
Oh my. Okay,
like,
so
we really-
all this to say, there's
There's a
a
lot
lot
of
of characters that could come back from heroes to supporting roles. Thor's daughter, Gore's daughter, who Thor is raising. But yeah, so clearly lots of things that could happen there. All very exciting. I was ready. We were talking just a couple weeks ago about a small scale Avengers. Whatever, just it's all exciting. I want to see them all connect. The one thing I do want to touch on this before we move on to this next bit is that I will forever want to see Destin Daniel Cretton's Avengers movie.
Yeah.
I think he's a fantastic director, and what he did with Shang-Chi was brilliant. But Shang-Chi 2, I'll take it, of course, obviously. We didn't name Katie. We didn't name Xialing. Oh, my God. There's so many characters we didn't name. But one character.
Early.
Yeah, that's true. One character who is a big question mark for this after some recent news is the Wasp. Evangeline Lilly. I've been a fan of Evangeline since Lost. Like, I love Kate Austen. And so now she is saying she's stepping away from acting. She said it on Instagram. Oh, sorry. Wait, I just steamrolled Jamie's talking point here. It's a quote. I got to let the world get a Jamie quote here.
I'll read. So on IG, she posted, stepping away from what seems like the obvious choice, wealth and fame, can feel scary at times, but stepping into your dharma replaces the fear with fulfillment. I might return to Hollywood one day, but for now, this is where I belong. I mean, I'm not surprised by this because she's gotten a lot of backlash for a lot of things over the years. I think it's really funny that she used the word dharma, because of like she's lost. But I think it would be sad to see Scott without hope. But we'll see when the call starts coming around and the paycheck cut starts coming around if she really does not return to Marvel.
Yeah, that's the thing. It seems she did seemingly leave the door open with that quote, but in my opinion, she actually posted a video from years ago when she was filming Lost, how she didn't want to be famous, she didn't want to be an actress forever, she wanted to do humanitarian work, she wanted to have a family, she wanted to be a writer. She's done all those things. She clearly, I think, probably doesn't have a great time with some of the things that are said about her because of some of her stances. So, in my opinion, if you're Evangeline Lilly, you look at everything you've accomplished from Lost to The Hobbit to Avengers movies to Real Steel, by the way, and what's left? If this isn't making you happy, why would you continue to do it?
Yeah.
Totally get it.
I don't blame her at all for having this outlook. It is just extremely like funny and ironic for her statement to come out and then literally later that same day it's like, here are 60 characters that are going to be in the Avengers movies. So it's like, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I would not blame her if she doesn't come back to play Hope, because I honestly feel like, given what Quantumania was, Hope's arc was kind of not really a thing in that movie. So I feel like as sad as it would be to not have Hope in Secret Wars or in Avengers 5, I feel like you could possibly make it work with just like, here's Scott and Cassie, or here's Scott and the Van Dynes and Pims. Like they could find a way to make it work.
Yeah, I think so too. And I really won't be surprised if she comes back, because she's hinted at this sort of thing many times before. I don't think she's ever outright said it this firmly, but she's been open about not wanting to continue acting many times, even before Hobbit, even before Marvel. So, I think once you see those zeros, like somebody may have seen recently, you come back.
Aaron, how do you feel about it?
I listen. So, like, I don't even think this belongs in the top three of the things. I know that there are probably some Wasp fans out there, but I mean, that's all comic stuff. That's not anything they've done on screen.
Yeah.
Like, there's a very funny problem with all of these like women second lead love interest types in these movies, where they get introduced. There's a lot of promise. The second one comes out, there's some growth, and then there's some hilarious misstep. It's like they greased the hill where we just can't get over it. So I'm happy she's doing whatever she's doing. Clearly, that Lost video spoke to her. Can't believe it's been that long since 2006. And, we'll probably get somebody else stepping through a portal me and Ariel continue to just be like, just let Anne Hathaway wear the wings one time. Just let her wear it one time. The most unproblematic couple. It's her and Ant-Man just sitting there having tea while the world is being ravaged during Avengers 5. That's fine. So yeah, okay. Sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry I didn't do better by you while you were here, I guess, too. You know, that's really what's up. Funny. Go ahead.
I just go back to that credit scene at the end of the first Ant-Man where she sees the suit and she says it's about damn time, and it's like, oh wow, there's so much potential here. And not that Hope has been a bad character, but she certainly should still be saying about damn time, looking at the future, because it's just like, well, this might happen next time. So
yeah, she gets some cool stuff in Ant-Man and the Wasp, like that movie.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think that I think they could have done more with her, absolutely, but she gets some cool stuff in that one.
She had a really good action scene in the kitchen too, with when Ghost showed up.
Yeah,
that was good stuff.
Like I said, there is an incline and then there's a slide. There's an incline and then there's a slide. It happens over and over and over again, over and over and over again. Although, guess what? They did her better than publishing. They did her better than Marvel Comics. You can't really argue about that.
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, Evangeline Lilly. I remember one time before I did this job, I was in a bagel shop in Atlanta. Like, just because I went to school out there and I was still in college, and she was filming the first Ant-Man movie, and this was completely like the most clear coincidence thing. I was at an Einstein Bagels in Atlanta, and I was just starstruck because she walked into the Einstein Bagels and just happened to sit at the table right next to me. And I was such a fan. Like, I was just waiting for my moment. She was with her little kid, and I was like, I don't want to say anything. That's Kate. Oh my God, that's Kate. I was so, because I'm a huge, y'all know I'm a Lost fan. Got tattoos from Lost, and I waited till she was done eating, and I was like, I just want to say I'm a huge fan. So cool to see you. And she was like, oh my God. We had like a very short conversation. She left. She came back and she said, I'm so sorry. Do you want to take a picture together? And I was like, that is the nicest thing. But like, that is the coolest thing ever. Like, she literally left the bagel store, walked out the window, probably saw me being like, oh my God, that was so cool, looking at her leaving. She came back. Do you want to take a picture? I was like, you're the sweetest person in the world. This is so cool. So I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I think she's a very, in my limited interactions with her, she has been absolutely one of the sweetest people I've ever met. So yeah, I have love for Evangeline Lilly. All right, we got one more topic here before we take a quick break.
Yeah, so talking about the 60 characters potentially in Avengers 5 and 6, talking about the clown car of characters. Robert Downey Jr. also made some comments this week where he kind of said he's open to returning as Iron Man, even though he kind of said he didn't want to previously. For the audio listeners, BD is aggressively staring at the camera right now. So this was on Variety's Actors on Actors with Jodie Foster. He said, quote, "It's just crazily in my DNA, probably the most like me character I've ever played. Even though he's way cooler than I am, I've become surprisingly open-minded to the idea of returning to the character." So, BD, I know you have thoughts.
I'll tell you right now, if I was not sitting in the Denver airport surrounded by the public, I would be hooting and hollering at this. This is the big reason. This is bigger than Avengers 5. This is bigger than anything else for me, why I wanted to come on the show. I don't care what anybody else thinks. If Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, I'm there. I'm seated. I wish he was voicing AI Tony Stark in Ironheart. I know he's not going to be doing that. It would be awesome if he was. But the idea of an original Avengers versus original X-Men movie, bring them all back, Downey's open to it, even after he got his Oscar. And everybody was like, oh, he's going to get that Oscar. He ain't going to do it. Guess what? He got that Oscar. And he's like, maybe Tony Stark ain't that bad after all. I'm here for it. Could it be more here for it? I love it.
I think this, while exciting, I don't think this is surprising. It's not like the first time he's publicly said he's open to it. I don't think this was the first time he's ever said that. But I do think it's funny that Jodie Foster was the one to get this out of there. My thing is, though, I don't think it'll be in 5. I think it'll be in Secret Wars. I would be really surprised if he showed up in 5. But you see tweets sometimes of like Marvel's holding actors hostage. Most of them clearly like it. If money, it's a lot of money, but like he likes playing Tony Stark. Like he said, like playing himself. It's good, easy, fun time. Good for him.
Basically, that's the take. We're not surprised, but we're excited.
Some of us also believe he was coming back regardless. I'm fascinated and amused by these people who need people to say things literally to them, like looking directly down the barrel of the camera for them to believe that things are going to happen. This is always where we're going to end up. So it's great. Good.
Well, listen,
maybe
I
stop some of the yelling.
Spider-Man was going to show up in so many movies. So I do need things to be said to me.
Well, Tom Hardy said some things that we might talk about later that the internet ran with. And this is another thing of reading comprehension being fundamental. Open the schools. Bring back the Pizza Hut reader campaigns that were around when we were kids. We need them, apparently.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know what you're talking about what Tom Hardy said. I assume we're going to talk about that in the next portion when we get to the Venom 3 trailer. But I remember I did that interview with Tom Hardy, and I said, Tom, we caught you in 4K, buddy. We had the picture that he tweeted, deleted on Instagram, basically, where it was Venom eating Spider-Man. What did that get us? Not a damn thing. But anyway, all that to say, I'm excited about Robert Downey Jr. being like, yeah, I love Tony Stark. Me too, bro. All right. Anything else on this Avengers, Robert Downey Jr., Evangeline Lilly, any of this stuff we want to talk about?
Nope.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. There's almost 600 people watching live right now. Thank you so much for hanging with us, everybody. Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead. Share the show with your friends. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're talking about the Venom, The Last Dance trailer. This is not spoilers. This is just an analysis of all the footage that's all out there and whether it all makes sense or not. So we'll see you in just a moment. Welcome back to Phase Zero, everybody. This is our Venom, The Last Dance trailer discussion portion of the show. BD here with Jamie, Jenna, and Aaron. And we're about to talk about this trailer, what we think of it, and maybe some deep dive discussion about what might be confusing in it. First of all, let's go reactions to this trailer. Jamie, you're at the top of the screen. What did you think of the first trailer for Venom 3?
I feel like I've got clown shoes on to the level of you loving the Morbius trailer because I loved this trailer. I watched it twice, which for me is kind of like in the one day, which is like I don't do a lot with trailers. I just think it looks so fun. But I also like a good trailer does not a good movie make, but I hope it's good because I think it's a really good trailer.
Aaron, what you thinking?
Well, Jamie's lying to y'all. She wants it to be good, so we'll get tattoos. That's really what's going on here. That's really what's going on here. I will say, why the heck was it the second one this tone? This is how you make me actually try and care about these Venom movies, is this. I don't know what was going on in the second Let There Be Carnage trailer, what the cutting department. This is so much more interesting. So a marked improvement. Excited to see more from it.
Jenna Anderson.
I got my Venom t-shirt on. I got my clown shoes on with Jamie. Everyone made fun of me for having this relatively high on my anticipation rankings, and here we are now. I know that at very least I'm going to have a fun time, and this trailer conveys that in spades. To Jamie's point, I watched this trailer 2 or 3 times. I thought it was utterly delightful. We'll talk about the specifics. We'll talk about the plot holes, but like the vibes are there. It just looks so nice. Venom goes to Vegas. Venom tames a horse. Venom, it's exactly what I want. It's the modern day Ernest movies. I'm very happy.
Jamie, where do you do your shoe shopping at? Because I'm in Nashville and I found the same pair. I feel like I'm also wearing massive clown shoes. I have been hurt before so many times by these damn Sony trailers, but yet I find this one to be astonishingly entertaining and making me think this actually might be a very fun film. That's it. Even in Venom 2, which I think is a terrible movie, Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock and Venom and the dynamic between them, super entertaining. So at minimum, you get that in this movie. At worst case scenario, that's going to be fun. And I think there's no way this movie is as bad as Venom Let There Be Carnage. So I think I'm very excited. I love the Venom horse. I also like.
Venom horse.
I gotta say, it's so frustrating that we're getting like this cool version of Venom. Like this looks like it's already my favorite Venom movie. Now those are the clown shoes talking, but like I just opened up the sideshow, the Hot Toys figures of Venom and Carnage. They're amazing. But then in looking at them, I'm like, man, these are from a movie that I really don't like, but these designs are so cool. There's so many cool things. The story of the Sony Spider-Man universe for me is unmet potential. This is a Venom with no Spider logo because there's no Spider-Man. So while there's rumors about Peter Parker and all that stuff, like there always are for these movies, I'm just going off this trailer. It looks like an absolute blast. I love where it's going. And Venom Horse right here is phenomenal. We all love Venom Horse.
Can we canonize the Venom Horse, the bet that we've all made, and the feelings that we have about the Venom Horse?
Okay, who's gonna lay it all out there?
I think that's a Jamie job.
Yes.
So we all love Venom Horse. We have all been deeply affected and moved by Venom Horse. And I suggested that if our combined Phase Zero score for this movie is higher than an 8, so a 8.1 or higher, we get Venom Horse tattoos, because that's pretty high. And I feel like, honestly, I'd get a Venom Horse tattoo right now without seeing the movie, but we don't all operate on the same level of tattooing as Jamie Girac. So I'm ready to get these group Venom Horse tattoos. So Sony, don't let me down, because this is a way that we bond for life.
I'm in. I mean, I'm contractually obligated. If just put it in there, I'm down. I love Venom Horse, and if this movie's an 8 out of 10, I want to remember Phase Zero forever. I want to remember Venom Horse forever, and it'll have a special place, not in my heart, but on my body.
I love how we've talked off mic about getting tattoos as a group, and like never in a million years would I have expected that the phrase Venom Horse would actually be the thing that would push us to potentially do so. Like, I love it so much.
I mean,
Aaron's regretting this. Aaron's
yes.
I just laugh because I'm the only person on this panel without any tattoos whatsoever. So the first one being this is hysterical. And it always was going to be this way. It was always going to be some random internet BS.
It's only a few months from now, too.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. How preposterous, though, that our first tattoo together, all of us, would be freaking from the Sony Marvel movies, which we regularly just dunk on because they let us down with Spider-Man stuff. That Venom gets on our bodies.
It feels right,
it's such a symbiote thing to do. You know what I mean? Like, how fitting. But okay, one thing we obviously have to talk about in this trailer, that the plot of the film seems to be that Venom's species is, coming to Earth to track him down. I assume it's this thing where they have tracked pieces of him, and they are making their way to Earth to collect them, I guess. Cool. Big fight, craziness. Okay. The thing we need to talk about, though, is the connection to Spider-Man No Way Home, which has everybody confused and ready to be disappointed, basically. I don't know what to make of this. Jamie, go ahead.
I'm not too bothered by this. Like, oh, hey, Christopher Hernandez. Hey, buddy. Love to see you. Like, there could be a million explanations, and no matter what they are, I believe it'll be better than Michael Keaton in Morbius. Like, I have to believe that, in my heart of hearts, that it will at least make 2% more sense than that did. So that's my feeling about it. Optimism, baby. I want my tattoo.
So for those listening in podcast form, we're talking about the fact that the bartender from the credit scene of Venom 2 and Spider-Man No Way Home is in the trailer here, and the symbiote is being collected or caught. And the left behind symbiote is being caught. Jenna.
Chris and I were joking about this, and we were like, if you are still desperately searching for logic and franchise connections in these movies, you are Charlie Brown with the football at this point. Like, I legitimately don't know what to tell you. I get the confusion, but I feel like it is hampering some people's enjoyment, and that kind of bums me out because, as we've said, the rest of this trailer is so delightful. I fully believe that, like, in the context of this movie, this scene will make sense. Either it was going to be some sort of thing where they're playing with our expectations, they're making us think it's the bar from No Way Home, but it's the bar on Venom's universe, or there's something else going on, or it just doesn't matter. So it's like, either way, I'm, like Jamie said, I'm optimistic. I'm just hearing them out.
I have my theories before I do that. Aaron, what do you?
A Ted Lasso reunion, with Juno up in here, like, cute.
Venom is life. Aaron, what do you think of all this?
I mean, I'm totally team. It's just the bar in this universe instead. I laugh because we've had multiple months of him running around. That's the exact same shirt combo, cargo short king combo from No Way Home too. Like there's clearly some like joking around about the multiverse and the idea that if you don't think that Venom's going to be one of them 60 odd characters in one version of Secret Wars and they're going to miss out on the money and lunch boxes and lounge flies you can sell, I don't know what to tell you at this point. I don't know. What are we all doing here if that's not what's all going to happen? Like what? You know,
that's the thing that we trust the MCU to do that. We don't trust these Sony movies, which constantly mislead us with these trailers to do that.
Dear God. I mean, I guess, I don't know. Like, first of all, don't hamper yourself. We haven't even gotten to the Reese of it all yet. Like, why are we ruining what's clearly the best Venom trailer with that? Clearly the best. And it's funny, if you had asked me before the year started if Venom Let There Be Carnage would finish higher than Madam and Craven, I'd be like, come on, man, that last one was really bad. I have faith Aaron Taylor Johnson wouldn't just sign up to be in some abominable thing, would he? And now we're all waiting with breathless anticipation for December 2025. We'll go see it 5 times with our families. Like, Venom, this is really fun. I beg you to turn off your brain and enjoy it and just feel the Venom horse course through you.
Yes.
Imagine it galloping through a field. Don't worry about if the bar is in the same universe or weird Michael Keaton stuff. Imagine if he shows up again. How angry Brandon Davis is going to be when we review this thing. It's going to be great. That's what I'm focusing on. We're all going to be sitting there. First ever Phase Zero After Dark with us drinking together. That's what Aaron's after.
I mean, listen, Heineken just sponsored Deadpool, so
yeah, right.
Listen,
wow.
Aaron, I like the optimism. I like the logic you have. It actually is very sound. That being said, I am incapable of not being a snob for wanting these things to be connected. I genuinely have a disdain for the way that the Sony trailers, not even about the movies, the way that the trailers have misled us when it comes to Spider-Man. The web did not connect damn thing. Spider-Man was not even a piece of graffiti in Morbius. That's the bottom line, because the Sony trailers lied to us. So, listen, this always felt like a thing where it was kind of going rogue anyway, especially once Morbius showed up, or once Vulture showed up in Morbius. My expectations for connectivity went below zero. I expected disconnectivity from the Sony Marvel universe, Spider-Man universe, whatever it's called. But this is a genius thing to put in the trailer. It's going viral on Twitter. Everybody's talking about it. We're talking about it. It's genius to put in there because they know being adjacent to the MCU still is enough to get some extra clout, to get some extra attention. And this is a damn good trailer. So whatever this ends up being, whether it's they were in the same universe the whole time, Chiwetel Ejiofor's character in this movie is suddenly a multiverse traveling agent that isn't a TVA agent, but is going to collect symbiote pieces wherever they are, whatever it ends up being, or if it just doesn't matter. We'll see. Great trailer. The trailer's already better than both Venom movies before it, so I'm still in for what it's worth.
Can I joke?
Aaron, go ahead.
Go.
No,
go ahead.
The argument that we always make on this show is you have to think about the general audience. Like we have been psychoanalyzing and overthinking this moment and what it can connect to with the trailer. The vast majority of the people who are going to be seeing this trailer in theaters, who are going to be buying tickets to this movie eventually, barely remember that was the ending of No Way Home. They don't remember that at all. They're not even going to be thinking about that. So like they are just going to be turning their brains off and enjoying the ride. And I think like we should kind of emulate that a little bit.
See, I kind of agree and I kind of disagree with that because it was in the movie. I don't think the mass audiences listen to our show, listen to Twitter, listen to every YouTube video from New Rockstars and Heavy Spoilers like we do. I think that they watch what's in the movie, and a lot of them will remember that Spider-Man showed up at the Venom 2 credit scene, I think. And they might not have followed it up. I mean, also, it's been a long time, so a lot of them probably forgot. But more people will be aware of that than are usually aware of it based on little trailer pieces and things like that, like we are, because it was in the movie. They saw it in the theater. So I don't know. I want Spider-Man with Venom. I'm not going to get it, but
Secret Wars.
It is what it is.
Yeah, hopefully. I cannot wait for there to be a 4-second blink and you miss it gag when there's 5 different versions of Chi just sitting at a table arguing with each other, being like, all of these people are dangerous. We need to just save the universe ourselves. We've been killed so many times and sidelined so many times. Cannot wait.
All right, the last thing, I do have to hop off here in like the next 5 minutes because my flight is going to start boarding. The last thing on this, also Waylon Maccabee, who's watching on Facebook for the first time, welcome to the Phase Zero show. We do this on YouTube mostly. I mean, we broadcast it everywhere every week, but we are trying to build that YouTube audience because we post our interviews and all other kinds of content on youtube.com/c/Phase Zero. So yes, we really are live. That's true. And I really am in the Denver airport doing this show because I refused to miss the Venom 3 trailer breakdown and the Avengers stuff that came before this. So yeah, but the last thing is Race Iphans was in this trailer. Lizard actor, obviously probably not the Lizard. Chiwetel Ejiofor is in this trailer. Obviously probably not Baron Mordo. It's just actors playing different characters. It is what it is, right? We're like, they're really, to me, I get it. I just deep dove for way too long on this one moment with Danny Rojas. And I'm about to say it doesn't really matter that these actors are playing different characters. It's happened in the MCU before. It is what it is. Those are things I don't expect to pay off in a sense of, oh, they're actually a variant. They're the same character, whatever. I don't have expectations for that.
Remember Gemma Chan. That's all I'm going to say. Like, this has happened so many times in superhero media, specifically in Marvel media. This is nothing new. I thought we were past the point of like starting to still nitpick about that, but I get why people are nitpicking. I didn't even recognize Reese fans in the trailer. So I was like, oh, cool. But like, it's not going to be the same character. He's just a guy. And I'm excited to see whatever he does with this performance. So,
I mean, it's also like these are actors that, well, Baron Mordo's a pretty big character. I don't know. But it's not like you have Chris Hemsworth running around playing another character. Like, it's not like these are like the main heroes of their movies playing other characters. That would be so hard to get past. So yeah. Also Stamina MC from London. Thank you so much for the golf clap for the internet connection here in the Denver airport. This is free Wi-Fi and we're able to record this whole thing. So yeah, shout out to DEN and the United Airlines terminal here for keeping me on this program for the runtime of my ability to be on it. My flight's about to start boarding, so we're going to wrap this up. We're going to take one quick break. This is a great opportunity to subscribe to the Phase Zero channel on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching with us every Wednesday. The New Mutants is on Monday. I'm giving my goodbye spiel. I'll let you guys get your last words at the end there. The New Mutants breakdown is on Monday. Review. That's our last movie on the road to Deadpool and Wolverine. We do this every Wednesday, noon Eastern time. Subscribe to the channel. Play our show for your mom. Play it for your dog. I'm going to go get on my flight. It'll be a 1-minute break. And then Jamie, Aaron, and Jenna will be back to talk more about Blade, about Anson Mount and his dunk on an Inhumans rumor, and some Captain America Brave New World stuff, and Giancarlo Esposito of it all. So enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you so much for hanging with all of us today. And I'm going to fly out to LA for this Bad Boy screening. See y'all later.
welcome back to Phase Zero. Thank you guys so much for joining us as we talked about the Venom 3 trailer and we talked about all things Avengers. We still have one more segment of the show today, and it's kind of just miscellaneous Marvel news. Starting with a piece of news that in any other week, this would have been at the top of our rundown, but we had so much else to talk about, it ended up here. So after 2 weeks of speculating on this show about Giancarlo Esposito entering the Marvel universe, 2 weeks of me being a devil's advocate about him potentially entering the Sony universe, we now have an answer of what project he is in. He is going to appear in Captain America Brave New World, which is currently reshooting for 22 days and has added him in a villain role. This was confirmed by The Hollywood Reporter on Friday. As I said, it's 22 days of reshoots. There are set photos out there of him in costume. We obviously are not going to show those here, but nobody can really figure out anyway, based on the costume, who he is playing. which is kind of interesting in and of itself. So how do we feel about this?
I think it's really interesting to like this movie clearly is going through some changes. Like we're always on here about how like reshoots aren't a big deal, guys. Reshoots are normal. It doesn't mean a lot. But when you're adding a big actor for 22 days of reshoots at a point where like the McDonald's toys are out, like that's interesting. I love him. I think he's great. I'm also a little disappointed to see he's playing a villain. I would have liked to see him play just something else, just being a villain in Star Wars and Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul and everything. But he's also so good at it too. Like he's awesome at playing a villain. So I am excited about that. But this is, I think that we are going to see some really, I think this is going to be a completely different movie than what it was going to be. I think certain characters are not going to be in it anymore. And I think that, but I have faith though, because I want Harrison Ford and Anthony Mackie to have fun together. So.
I mean, as long as those two things are in it, I'm really tripping about this. They obviously want this to be as big of a movie as possible. And if you look at the other recent castings for Marvel Studios, you see a clear pattern emerging. They are coalescing around the vision of get giant names that people watch in other things, and they will play the biggest roles. Yes, we will try to introduce newcomers with other roles, smaller roles, but for like big things that are going to carry forward through multiple entries, they have to be of a certain cachet. And unfortunately, that means we get uninspired, slightly feeling things for people who watch a bunch of stuff, because Jamie watches more than me and half the darn comic book slack. So you've seen him be a villain 8 million times and everything else, and you get ready to see it again. So that's interesting. I do think it is interesting that he's playing a villain and they're reshooting so much of it so that he can be a central focus. And he's also teased that he's going to be a big villain moving forward in other stuff and mentioned a series, which at this point, I'm like, sure, but we'll see about that.
I have seen some theories depending on who he could be playing. Because again, like his costume, I will just say, does not really convey a specific character. Like it is not easy to tell just based on that costume who he is clearly playing. But I've seen some people theorize of like, oh, he might be a certain Moon Knight villain, and then he could go into Moon Knight season 2, or a certain Daredevil villain and go into Born Again season 2. Like his comment about starting in a movie and going into a series could still be true. It's just like we don't know exactly what the hell that looks like.
Yeah.
I also, because I think people, and I even was guilty of this when I initially read the news, people are kind of assuming that he's maybe going to be involved with all 22 days of reshoots, and now he's the big bad of the movie, and they're like, you know, doing all of this like reconstruction. He's just in the reshoots. We don't know if it's for a couple days. We don't know if it's for the entirety of the shoot. We have no idea. And I have this note in here: Rosa Salazar, who has been reported to be in the movie and seems to be playing Diamondback based on the McDonald's toys that have leaked, has also been spotted in the set photos recently. And Tim Blake Nelson just told Screen Rant yesterday that he's going to be doing reshoots pretty soon too. So it seems like they're covering more of this movie than we realize. Like we have no idea what this movie is going to be like. To Jamie's point, I'm more in kind of the lost media that we're going to have of like what is going to be entire sequences of this movie. I'm convinced are going to be completely different from what they were originally, which is fascinating to see happen in real time. But I'm cautiously optimistic, I guess.
The other part of this that's so funny is the last Marvel movie that they did this much rejiggering with to like get it to where they wanted it to be was Multiverse of Madness or No Way Home, and they both worked out swimmingly. Like everybody laments, oh, the original vision got lost, and then you look at the $800 million a thing makes, and you're like, well, I mean, it would have been cool to see Doctor Strange in a fez, but you know, some of the other stuff was pretty awesome too. So I really am it, and also I want to caution people, and I always am doing this, and it's like, oh my god, please, Lord, if it's not Henry Gyrich, will you guys act civil? I know that that's asking a ton, but like, why would you introduce such a giant thing and something without ostensibly without mutants in it? Like, I just ask yourselves to pace yourselves before you hype yourselves up for something that probably is not going to be the case. The rest of every single thing they've said about this movie is that it's a grounded action thriller, which is what all of you have been banging on the table about. And then you're like, but also have mutants come in here. Does it? My favorite thing is the two ends don't work together. They just don't. So I don't know.
This movie also already has Sam dealing with Hulk lore, which is like crazy enough in and of itself. Like, so we don't need him to also simultaneously be dealing with the leader and Red Hulk and all of that and mutants at the same time. Like, that is no longer a Sam Wilson.
That's an Avengers movie, is what you're building, right? Yeah. Exactly. I'm like, that's not what's happening here, guys. I don't think it is anyway. I think he's playing Fortean or Prophet. That's what I think. Two things that make people go, what? Huh? Why? Why is it not just Gyrick? That's what's going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. I definitely think it's going to be a much more obscure character than people are already thinking. Like, people are setting themselves up for failure if they're thinking he's tied to the X-Men at all.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. So keeping the train rolling of actors maybe being in projects or maybe not being in projects. Jamie, take it away.
So a Twitter account claimed that Anson Mount and I think the tweet just said Inhumans will be in Secret Wars and like had a picture of the cast from Inhumans, and Anson Mount responded and he goes, "This is so interesting. Please tell us more about this contract I apparently signed in my sleep. I'm so curious to hear all the juicy details from a feed that is clearly not a click farm. Honestly, good for you, Anson Mount, because I am so sick of these blue check fan accounts making stuff up. It makes our job harder. And for some reason, people take the bait. And then this stuff goes all over Twitter, even though we know there is nothing to back this up. Check your sources, people. This is killing our industry. Support our industry correctly and look for a source. It really frustrates me. And so to see and an actor shouldn't have to do this. An actor shouldn't have to get in a dying porn site and tell people whether or not they're in a movie. But that's where we're at. So it's just frustrating. But no, and also it was shocking he was in Multiverse of Madness. I really don't think we're seeing him again. Maybe we will, but I doubt it sincerely.
I was about to say, it's still a miracle he even came back and that he got the comic accurate costume. He got his flowers for that. I don't expect him to need to come back for anything more. I don't expect the Inhumans to play a role in Secret Wars, flat out. I don't think that is the biggest pop from the audience that they can possibly get, given everything else that's at their disposal. So I'm glad he debunked it. To your point, I completely agree. I hate that he had to debunk it. The whole switcheroo on Twitter of check marks and whether or not they're valid in what they're saying has just been so frustrating to see happen in real time, because these accounts can just say things and not have any repercussions whatsoever. And then everyone takes it as gospel. And then we have to be here dodging all of it like it's the Matrix. So
go watch Star Trek Strange New World. It's great.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't think he might not be. It's one thing to say that now. Once the summer camp feel of how big that production strikes up, maybe he'll change his tune. I don't think he signed anything at all, even slightly, and it hasn't even come across his desk. He's even thought about it yet, probably. But I'm fully prepared for the 10-year camp reunion feel of a Secret Wars thing, where it feels like what's going to happen is Robert Downey Jr. is going to drive around like the second part of a heist movie at the height of the second act and be like, I'm getting the band back together for one more ride. And who's really going to say no to that? Not almost anybody.
I'd also like to add, if you're going to throw in an Inhuman from a TV show, why would you pick the failed
Oh, boy. Uh-oh.
7-season series.
Go.
Starring an Inhuman that people want to see again. So, I broke
that was delightful. Good job. Way to go, Jay. Way to go.
Bravo. I do think to Aaron's point. Yeah, absolutely. I do think to Aaron's point, we just talked about it with the Avengers 5 stuff, of scheduling conflicts and when are they even going to start filming? I've already seen chatter online saying it's not going to be till the back half of next year, probably, because the pure logistics of getting everybody that they want in this movie available is going to be really, really difficult. We're going to talk about that in our last story about logistics and scheduling and conflicts, but when they're filming Secret Wars is going to be so far out at this point that nobody has probably signed a contract yet, unless they already signed one as part of an overall deal in the MCU. Nobody is guaranteed to be in this movie. They could still be in this movie, but I'm glad that we're already having to debunk stuff regarding all of that.
Well, hopefully we see Daisy. Hopefully.
I would love that.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
Let's start the campaign now.
What, Jamie, what are you looking so mad about? I just said, hey, I hope we see her. You're like,
I'm sorry. I was reading a Deadpool related email.
Okay, all right, wow.
Sorry.
Whoa,
Okay.
all right,
You're
wow.
just
I was like,
deep in
dang.
concentration. I see.
I'm
Jeez.
so sorry. I apologize. I can do two things at once. I'm just gonna look angry doing it.
I thought I
Aaron,
offended you.
Aaron, you missed it during our Dark Phoenix episode. Jamie disassociated at a level that I have never seen before in my life. Like, she just stopped paying attention at a certain point because the movie was so miserable. So I have to shout out Brendan in the comments, who earlier in the episode said that he got broken up with while he was rewatching Dark Phoenix. And I am so sorry. I sympathize. Thank you for your sacrifice of rewatching the movie. And
That's probably why the breakup happened. You walk in on someone watching Dark Phoenix and you just can't trust them anymore.
It's just that's I sympathize. But so going into our last story today, talking about scheduling conflicts and whether or not they might be a thing. So I wrote an article on the site speculating about this whole conversation. Mahershala Ali just got cast in Jurassic World #4, which is supposed to start filming at some point in this summer. I think like June or July is what they said. What does this mean for Blade at this point? Because Jurassic World 4 is currently scheduled to come out in the summer of next year. So that means it would be a relatively quick turnaround. Depending on how long the shoot is he going to immediately go into Blade? Is Blade still going to come out in October of 2025? Or is another delay on the horizon? What does this mean?
Well, go ahead, Jay.
I was just gonna say, I never take that as a bad sign. I mean, there's a lot with Blade anyway, like, of course, but being cast in something, I always think of 2004, or the year of Jude Law, when like 6 Jude Law movies came out, and it's like, they make it work, if they really want to. Whether or not Mahershala still wants this, I mean, it does seem to be messy, which is bumming me out, because you guys know I've been waiting for my vampires in the MCU for so long now. But I don't think it's dead. I think it'll be fine. More dinosaurs, great.
I know Jenna has a ton to say, so I'll try to be brief. But the funny thing is that I said a year and a half ago, and there's a segment of the YouTube comments that's just going to be freaking furious that I'm just revisiting the past, but that's what I do. Like, the aims of this franchise, what the fans say they want from it, and the realities of what you need to do to get there do not match up. They do not. And there's nothing you can really do to bridge those gaps. So if you want Avengers to come out as soon as possible because they haven't seen each other, something else is going to suffer in production line. And that would probably be my like crackpot theory of what's really going on here. Because you want the mutants, you want Avengers, you want Blade at the same time, but the X-Men movie hasn't even been announced yet. And then the 5 and 6 were supposed to be together, and then they were split apart. You don't want Kang to be the villain of it because, I don't like it. I want it to be Doctor Doom. You're adding so many blocks to the Jenga tower that there's nothing you can really do when stuff doesn't go to plan. Also, I mean, the Blade stuff was announced in a different world. It was announced in 2019. Like, none of that stuff's coming back. So at best, I feel like it's probably still coming out. We'll get more clarity at Comic-Con. That is a tight crunch, but I think Jamie is right. If they really want this to happen, and I think that doing right by Mahershala is probably the most important thing of this whole thing. Him and Delroy Lindo, I would really enjoy seeing them together. So, hopefully it all works out. Does anybody know if that Jurassic World, I got faith in Gareth that it'll look cool, but I hope it's good. Like, you got my boy Jonathan Bailey in there. It better be good. You're taking away from Bridgerton.
What a cast, but also it's like, dinosaurs aren't like IP. Anybody can make a dinosaur movie. Like, I think we should have taken a break from the Jurassics after the last one, but also I'm always going to be seated. Like, I'm a sucker, #1 sucker in the world, and I'm going to be seated for pretty much anything. So
they still want the fast crossover. We're still built to that, Jamie. We can't get there.
That would be
if we don't keep making them. Live reaction, Jamie. She's just farting in the street. Dom Toretto riding a raptor or riding a T-Rex. The T-Rex has a cross chain. Yes.
Yes.
Make it happen.
Oh my gosh. Back to Blade. I am of two camps. I'm either of the camp that I said this when we talked about Fantastic Four a couple weeks ago, and like, are they going to be able to turn that movie around in a year from production to release? I would not be surprised if Fantastic Four takes Blade's current spot. Blade maybe gets moved to early the next year, and then we just keep the train going from there. I also would not be surprised if at this point, to Aaron's point, this movie was announced in a completely different landscape. We have not seen Blade. We have just heard him in the back of Eternals, and nobody remembers that. I'll be completely honest. They could very easily, Bob Iger has talked about killing projects that don't work and that you put development money into, but that they ultimately didn't pan out. I would not put it past them for Blade to be one of those things. I would love to be wrong. I would love this movie to exist, but we'll just have to wait and see. I have a feeling Comic-Con, we're going to know the answer in one way or another.
God, I hope so. I just hope some of our questions are answered because I'm tired.
Listen, you think I'm not tired of doing this stupid dance? I really do think I will sit here pretty much in silence. I'm going to get the biggest cup imaginable if they can this thing, and the reward you get is the X-Men movie faster or the Avengers movie faster. I will sit here and I will just watch Brandon and you guys talk, because I knew, like, when they announced all the, okay, we're changing scoop on everything. Oh boy. Why? Wait, I don't even have anything because it was so packed.
I think because you're ranting, we are taking that as a spicy nut.
Oh, well, I mean, that's not news. That's like it's Wednesday, right? Yeah, that's a Wednesday. I don't have anything, guys. I apologize for not having anything, but it was such a big week that we've been in the group chat playing this episode for a day and a half and have to keep reminding Brandon Davis where the time periods are. Reminding Jamie so she could be up on time so she can be here with us to discuss this stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. Everybody keeps saying, like, you can make it with a low budget and be a massive success. And I think there's just a tension here of things cost money. And you're going to have to spend money to make stuff. You know?
Also, just purely the development costs of, like, this movie has gone through so many evolutions, so many writers they've hired, like a director change. Like, they've probably already put a lot of money into Blade before cameras even started rolling. I think there were rumors before the strikes that, like, they were building sets. So I think at a certain point they might just cut their losses, or they might just double down and make it work. But again, to your point, how does it really help getting to Avengers 5 and 6 to have a Blade movie where we have a Blade movie? But
half the fan base wants Wesley Snipes to come back and them to be doing, like, like fucking Lethal Weapon with the two of them. And the other half wants the Avengers and X-Men as fast as possible, or both at the same time if you're our co-host Brandon Davis. So I don't know. Like, it's gonna be hard.
All I'm gonna say is if you get Wesley Snipes in there, you better also get Nick Cage in there. That's as Ghost Rider. Like, that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Why are we just, this whole segment's really been building Jamie's perfect movie? That's really what's been going on here.
I like to make things about me. I'm an only child.
She is the whole poster for Secret Wars versus dinosaurs and Fast and Furious versus all of Jamie's favorites is Blade again.
Giant Scarlet Witch and everyone else is so
much right, exactly. One big Elizabeth Olsen.
Travolta is there somehow.
Right.
Yeah.
He's on Wizards Road. He's on Wizards Road like, hey, what's up?
No,
I'm just here.
Travolta's already in the worst Marvel movie ever made. Let's keep him out of this.
He can play a new character. I don't know. We're crafting your perfect movie here.
We are. We're doing you a service.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully Comic-Con will provide a lot of answers in that regard. And hopefully we will have some fun coverage planned once all of those answers come out at Comic-Con. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us on today's Phase Hero. Thank you for letting BD pass the show to me and having us stick the landing. I think this was really fun. Jamie, do you have anything to leave the listeners with today?
Yeah. Speaking of Tom Hardy, I did the Bike Riders Junket last week. All those interviews are coming on, I believe, Monday. So keep an eye out for that. I did chat with Tom Hardy, and I got a matching tattoo with Tom Hardy. I now have the same tattoo as Tom Hardy because they did that at the junket. Sadly, though, we did not talk about Venom, but still worth checking out. On Monday, follow me on Letterboxd at Jamie Jirak. Stop being on your phone in the movies and stop talking in the movies. We can hear you. You're loud when you whisper. It's a quiet area, and when you're talking, I can hear you.
BD is just like onboarding his flight right now, and it's like, oh man.
Oh, he missed all of it.
Aaron, what about
you? It's at Something Like Horner on Twitter. You can go watch the entire Deadpool Wolverine PSA that Jamie is going to be. We're going to deep fake her into somehow, where she is going to yell at you and curse at you. And some of you are going to be like, yes, absolutely. Sickos committee stuff. I got to go to the Bad Boys for Life red carpet with one Chris Killian, who some of you might know from other comic book things, and talk to Adil and them about directing Spider-Man 4, and talk to Will and them about like randomly doing another iRobot possibly, and if Martin Lawrence has finally learned the Bad Boys theme song. So go support Chris, go support the channel, go watch that stuff. It's fun.
I love it. You can find me on social media at Hey It's Jenna Lynn. As always, go read some comics. There are a lot of really great ones this week. There's a new issue of Birds of Prey that I absolutely adored. And there's a new tribute, 100-page giant to Rachel Pollack from DC, which is just beautifully done. So go check those out. Don't forget to follow the show at Phase Zero CD on the social media platform of your choice, including the name that Jamie gave Twitter earlier in this segment. And as BD mentioned at the start of the show, we will have our New Mutants episode on Monday. So stay tuned for that because that should be a lot of fun. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on the podcast platform of your choice. And don't forget to go listen to our Dark Phoenix episode if you haven't already listened to it, because that was a hoot. That was very, very fun. Play the show for your mom, play the show for your dog, and we will see you on Monday.